Alright guys, so in today's video I'm going to be showing y'all how to put a VS 1400 final drive onto a VS 800. So the reason you would want to do this modification is for any given speed you're going to have lower RPMs compared to the original final drive. This improves the comfort of riding the bike at highway speeds, and it also is going to give a boost in fuel economy since you're not in such high RPMs all the time. So I do want to say before we get into this that it is possible that you could tear something on your bike up or get harmed doing this modification, because we're going to be modifying the stock swing arm, and if something goes wrong with that, you're going to wreck your bike. So first things first, I got to actually figure out if this final drive is going to fit on my bike, so I need to take the rear tire off and compare the splines in here to see if the wheel will even fit on it. And also, after doing that, I need to see if this thing is leaking, because I'm pretty sure they shipped it with the oil in there and there is no oil in it. And as you can see, everything they had it packed in is covered in oil. So I might be having to get some new seals for this thing. Alright guys, so me from the future, this is not leaking from any of the seals. I'm just kind of stupid. They have a little vent right here to let any pressure buildup out, and yeah, obviously if you have this thing upside down, all the oil is going to come out of there. So yeah, let me get the bike up on a stand and get the rear tire off. Okay guys, so as you can see, I got the tire off. So now let's just see if the splines on that fit on the tire. Alrighty, look at that. Fits on there, so that's a positive. Something's hitting though. I wonder what that's about. So after a little bit of diagnosing, figured out what is hitting to make that not fit on this wheel, and it's these two larger bolts right here. When they spin, the heads of them, they hit these little ridges inside the tire, if y'all can see those. So I'm gonna have to either get screws with a smaller cap on the top of them, or I might even try to get some socket head screws. Yeah, I'll pick y'all up whenever I do that. Alright y'all, so I got it figured out right here. Just had to buy another set of bolts and grind them way down, almost to the point where there's nothing left on them. So now that I got this figured out and it's no longer hitting inside the wheel, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that it'll fit onto here with no problems. Yeah, I'm gonna take this old one off and then yeah, try to fit that one on there. Okay, so I got the old final drive off, and before I put this one onto the bike, I measured the shaft length on this one and that one, and this one's about 1/4 inch longer, but the splines are also about 1/4 inch longer. Just 1/4 inch needs to be taken off the end of this and it'll be good. So the biggest problem with putting this new final drive on there is the positioning of these studs. So as you can see, this is the old ring, this is the new one. When I line these up, you can see that the holes don't really align very well. So I marked the holes out, and I'll put a picture up for it because it's not coming across great on the camera, but I'm taking away about half of the material on each of these from this edge right here. A lot of people online say that they just go ahead and grind these out, and that's just all they do. So yeah, I've got to figure out what exactly I want to do about that. I'm not sure how comfortable I am with taking away that much material, and I mean, this is holding on one of my only 2 wheels on this motorcycle, so if it comes off, you know, it's going to be a bad day. So yeah, I'm going to try to figure something out. And I'll catch up with y'all whenever I figure that out. Alright guys, so I figured out what I'm going to do about grinding the holes in my swing arm. So I just bought another one And what I'm gonna do is just weld up a little bit on the tops of these to put a little more material there, so that I can grind the holes out without worrying about the material being too thin right there. So the first step for that is gonna be stripping the paint off of this thing, because it doesn't even match the color of my bike. So yeah, I'm gonna have to repaint it. Along with stripping the paint on this swing arm right here, I actually decided that I'll go ahead and strip the coating off of the final drive and also my drum right here, so that I can actually polish the aluminum on here, because they have these weird corrosion marks and stuff on here that I want to get out, and it'll be easier to do all of this while, you know, it's off the bike. Alright guys, so I've got the swing arm paint stripped and wire brush sanded down. I've also got the final drive right here. I'm gonna have to do some sanding and stuff to get some of these scratches out, but it's already looking way better than it did with the clear coat on it. Then I've got my drum brake right here, and it's cooking up in that paint stripper right now. So almost done with the paint stripping step, and then I can get to more interesting stuff like welding on the swing arm. We're getting close. I'll pick y'all up in a little bit whenever I get done with the paint stripper over here. Alright, so I'm about to start welding on the swing arm right here. So this is the first time I've ever welded, so I've been practicing on this thing right here. Alright, so there's my little boogers that I've got. I was doing better earlier before I turned the camera on, of course. Alright, it's time to do the real deal. If I don't do it, I'll never get it done, so hopefully I don't burn through it. Yeah, we'll see. So the welds are complete, and I'm going to start grinding them to make them a little prettier and make this mating face flush, so I can take this ring right here and mark out the holes that I need to put on there. Okay, so I just got done grinding down my welds and making sure all these holes are good enough to put the final drive on. And I'm about to start testing out some spray paints to see what the closest color is. Got three colors that are pretty close to what my bike has. So I'm just gonna put them down next to each other and see which one matches the best. I'll just check them out tomorrow once they're dry against something from the bike. See which one matches. I'll pick y'all up tomorrow. So all the paint's dried, and this last one right here is the one that matches the best, which is Dark Torador from GM. So now I'm gonna prep this thing for paint, get it all sanded down, clean. Alright, so I forgot to hit record, but I've already got one layer of primer on the swing arm after I cleaned it all up and everything. So I'm gonna put one more coat of primer on there, let it cure, and then I'll start putting the color on. And then after I get the color put on, I got some clear coat that I'll put on there to make it nice and glossy to match the bike. Project's almost over. It's going well. Hope it'll keep going well. Alright, Alright, so while that coat of paint dries before I can put the clear coat on, I'm going to go ahead and take this old swing arm off. Shouldn't be too hard, but you never know. As y'all can see, I got the swing arm off of my bike. While I was doing that, I also put the clear coat on the new one, and I have to say, this has turned out really freaking good. Now I just gotta wait for that clear coat to dry, and then from there, it's just putting parts back on. Alright, so it's the next day, and here we have our painted swing arm. Paint on this thing looks real nice. Now I just get to take all the old stuff off of that old swing arm right there, throw it on here, and then start putting this on the bike. Should be smooth cruising. I got everything back together, got all the torque specs done. The paint matches a lot better than I thought it would. I thought there was going to be a little difference in it, but I mean, next time I get to ride this, I'll give all my words on it, see if it actually is worth it, because I could have just done all of this for there to be little to no benefit. If I was a better YouTuber, I would have got y'all some before footage. All I know is just from beforehand, it was running about 4,000 RPM when I'm going 60 miles an hour, so we'll use that as our baseline. Alright, so I'll see y'all next after I ride this and let y'all know my thoughts. So after taking the bike out a few times with the new final drive on it, I have to say that this modification 100% benefits the bike. It only lowers the RPM at 60 miles an hour in 5th gear down to 3,500 RPM compared to the 4,000 that it was before. But you also have to consider that it is changing the ratio, so as you get higher in the RPMs, the difference from stock is going to be way bigger. The only downside I can think of with this new final drive on here is that taking off is just the tiniest bit harder. You have to use a little more throttle and give some more slip in the clutch, but it really doesn't make that big of a difference when you're actually driving it. Yeah, that's my thoughts on the bike, and I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you did, please make sure you like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot, and it helps me stay motivated making more videos for y'all, and it lets me know that y'all enjoy the videos I'm making. Alrighty, I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.